I just want to come before you just I guess I felt the need to do another video for the most part. And the reason why I want to do this video real quick to get it out of the way is I was actually I guess I saw a conversation actually on my thread on Facebook for the most part. Again, I frequent that website for the most part throughout different times of the day, what have you, to see what my associates or what have you are talking about. For the most part, they were getting into like some sort of heavy conversation regarding an issue regarding a young girl, I guess, who, I guess she had like a boyfriend or something like that. This is not something that actually made the news or anything, but it was just a conversation that they had. They wanted to kind of get the opinions of other folks and pretty much what needs to be done, that sort of thing. But anyway, the issue is that the young girl actually went over to her friend's house. I mean, his parents or anything wasn't at home. And for the most part, I guess you can pretty much, in a sense, see where I'm going with this. I actually want to kind of give my take on this situation because for the most part, sexual assault and rape is not something that we in America take lightly, and it's not anything that's to joke about. But what I want to do is I actually wanted to kind of do this video because for the most part, there's a census that, or I would say the consensus is that everybody's jumping on the fact of the fella doing wrong. But for the most part, no one is actually holding the female accountable for her actions. And for the most part, I actually wanted to go ahead and do this video to kick this off to let you know, or to give my 2 cents of the matter. Because again, there is 2 sides to every story. And like I said, I don't think that you would get the full side until you hear both sides. And you kind of have to use a bit of rationale and a bit of common sense when you're actually talking about these type of issues, because it's so easy to get emotionally involved, and we let our emotions get the better of us and we end up making irrational decisions. So I'm going to kind of delve in and give my take on it. All right, so just bear with me here. People, I guess, tend to kind of let their common sense kind of go wayward or whatever the case may be when you're actually talking about, dating or seeing someone, or actually wanting to spend time with someone, and for the most part, it's an enjoyable time. I would, I'm can imagine, wanting to spend time with someone, wanting to get to know someone, that sort of thing, before you actually become heavily involved or actually call yourself an item. But the issue that I'm actually wanting to kind of, I guess, bring to light is that whenever you're actually, I guess, wanting to get to know someone or wanting to get to, to kind of, I guess, just get closer to someone before you actually call yourselves a quote-unquote couple, you really have to use a bit of common sense. For the most part, I guess what I'm going to have to do on this one is kind of, I don't know, I may anger a couple of people, but, me, I really don't care, because there's just some things that I think that is I would say, a bit common sense. And for the most part, I guess all of it was just kind of kicked away to the side when emotions get involved. But anyway, for the most part, whenever you're actually talking about dating, we have a lot of people that are, dating in this day and time, but I think that even when you actually feel like you can trust someone, until I actually know you, I still have to approach you with a level of apprehension. That's just me personally. I mean, like I say, again, common sense is not so common these days, especially when it comes to a lot of people, because for some reason they feel that nothing bad can happen to them. It's like they feel that they can just behave and act in irregularable, reckless ways, and that, the reality bug won't come back and, kick them in the behind, so to speak. But there is no way, from the female role, there is no way that a woman should go anywhere. Well, in this case, she went over to the fella's house. I mean, I guess he kind of approached her in a non-threatening way. They were seeing each other, what have you, and he invited her to come back to his house. And I guess from the way they were talking is that he still lived with his parents. I guess these are teenagers. I'm not sure about the age. They never did get the age, but I'm going to assume that they're teenagers. But she agreed to go back to this fella's house. Okay, first of all, they're not boyfriend, girlfriend, that sort of thing. And even then, there's still some rules that really needs to apply. But she agrees to go to his house. Number 2, his parents are not home. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Because For some reason, I don't know what's going on these days. And like I say, common sense these days is out. It's a part of our process of thinking, I would think. But people these days don't really use common sense. I'm going to just go ahead and get that out of the way. When you use common sense will actually keep you or actually protect you from going through a lot of issues and circumstances that you could normally, be, protected against. I don't care. Emotions get involved. Emotions can be misleading, and it can definitely get you into situations where you wish you never had gotten into. But in this case here, the guard has been down. I trust you. I don't think that you will do anything to harm me. So I'm going to go ahead and, follow your suggestion, to come and, spend time with you one evening while your parents are not home. Now, most of the time these days, especially with the immorality factor and, and pop culture, social media, and everything else attributing to the factor, you have a lot of people out there that really are not even trying to behave like decent, classy, human beings. The only thing that is actually on the minds of most men, young boys, various ages or whatever, is the fact that they want to get their rocks off, if you know what I mean. Like I said, this may not be a video for, everyone to see. I'm not sure, but anyway. Most of the time these days, there's only one objective that's actually being done or actually wanting to be achieved by most men, and that's for the most part to get the goods and don't even care about or don't even try to get themselves emotionally attached to the person that is willing to give up the goods. And we already know on the woman's side, when she gives up the goods, if you will, then she figures that this person cares about her. This person, wants to really, see where the relationship can possibly go, possibly a long-term commitment, which we know for the most part these days is almost non-existent, because if you're going to meet someone that's willing to give, to sleep with you on the first date or whatever the case may be, we already know what the issue is with that. But there are rare exceptions. But I digress. But you agree to go to someone's house, the parents are not home, and this is actually can be true for the male side as well. I mean, I would not go to a female's house, even, we may be talking, get to know each other. I'm not going over her house when her parents are not home, because that is an open invitation to trouble. All right? That's called being sneaky. That's called doing something behind somebody's back. That's called actually wanting to do your dirt and not get caught. Okay? There's nothing good that ever comes from those type of situations, all right? So I just want to kind of put that out there. But now, the girl agrees to go to their house, or go to his house. One thing leads to another, and next thing you know, she cries rape. Oh boy. Here we go. Rape is actually a subject that I have really never delved into in my videos. I mean, because like I said, I never actually really had a need or a desire to want to talk about it, because again, they have so many other videos here on YouTube that are talking about it for the most part, that I really didn't think that I would need to, do my little rendition on it. But there are certain things that people can do to lessen the likelihood of becoming a victim of being raped. I mean, women, are the biggest victims of rape, and men can be as well. So, it's not all about the woman being violated. Men can be violated just as well. Okay, I just want to kind of get that out of the way. But a lot of people actually want to give pity to the young female, but yet still dog the young man out as if he should have known better. See, one thing about it is that even though if rape actually did occur, because we do have instances where, a woman would actually be willing to actually have consensual sex, but since it didn't go down, or the person was not willing to invest a relationship in them like they once thought, then they want to cry rape just so they can actually get back at the person. We have those type of instances, and we do have females that will do that, okay? But what we have to kind of look at the fact about it is that there is no way I'm going over to someone's house. We're young, whatever the case may be. Knowing this day, you have to really be able to be street smart. Now, see, we have a lot of people that may be book smart, but they don't really have common sense to complement being book smart. Book smart can only take you so far, okay? Common sense can take you a bit farther if it's used in the right way, given under the right circumstances or what have you. I am not going over to somebody's house, I don't care, how innocent you may be or, how much of an interest you may take up with me, especially when there's no one else around. I don't know what your intentions are. I don't care how long we talked or whatever the case may be. I don't know you no. I mean, like I say, first of all, she didn't meet the parents and everything. The only person she knows is just the fella. And she agrees to go over to his house. That's a recipe for disaster. And the sad part about it is that no one is actually holding her accountable for that. Yes, rape is a very big deal, if that's the case. I'm not saying that she wasn't, but you got a lot of vindictive females out there that will try to get back at a man if he doesn't submit to what she wants after she gives him some sex. And we've had a lot of men that have become victims of that. Their lives have been ruined. Their careers have been ruined. It's cost them a lot in, lawsuits and, like I say, it's a crazy thing. Because, common sense wasn't used, unfortunately. But there is no way on the female side that, she should have had I don't really know what to really think. I mean, she wants pity, but I'm not going to give her any pity. Not for this. I'm sorry. This is my video. Again, I can say whatever I want to say, and I'm going to say whatever I want to say. That's a given. If you don't have enough common sense to actually use it to know that, okay, this fella here, even though we may have been talking, he has something else on his mind, first of all, a fella is not going to actually come out and admit to you what they want, what their agendas are. I mean, unless they're drunk or something like that. And there was no mention of them actually, either one of them being intoxicated. So first of all, I'm not going nowhere. Okay, we're thinking, okay, now if you're not going to tell me what we're going to be doing alone, why in the world am I going to follow you, to your place, where nobody else is going to be? I mean, like I say, and I'm still not really all that trusting of you. I mean, they did not really say how long they were dating or whatever the case may be, but just generally speaking, if he'd raped her, then shame on him, and he should face the consequences for that. But now we have the whole community that is coming to the aid of the young woman saying, oh, poor girl, poor girl, poor girl, I'm sorry you had to endure that. Well, I'm sorry she had to go through it as well, but you know what? In some cases, she should have known better. She should have known better. I'm not going to sit there and throw a pity party for somebody that just failed to use common sense. You got a lot of females these days that are very hot in the pants, and they are actually being taught that based on what they're actually seeing on social media, their TV programming, their friends, all of this is teaching these young girls, to be whores and to be little, side pieces instead of being classic or classy women. And for the most part, it's teaching them that it's okay to be raunchy and everything, but it's not teaching them that if you continue to behave that way, this is what's going to happen. See, that's the thing about it, is that the media and all this environment is telling them that it's okay and that to be in the in crowd, it's okay to behave that way. But it's not telling you that, okay, you got some sick individuals out there who may not even, who know better, but they're going to still take that chance and see what they can do with you and then try to get away with it later on. I don't get it. I really don't get it. People don't use common sense. These young female and older ones, for the most part, they're not using common sense. Because, again, they look at Nicki Minaj, they look at, Beyonce and all of these other Rihannas and all these other people that they want to kind of live their lives through. But yet still, they don't understand. This is reality. This is not television. You go out there and being suggestive and actually being seductive and everything, a man is going to sit there and say, okay, well, she's ready. She's ready. I don't care how old you are. Sad to say, you got some of them out there that will actually go and sleep. You got some grown behind men that will go and sleep with a 12 or 13-year-old, 14, whatever-year-old girl who's underage, all because of how she I guess, presents herself. She's underage. I mean, these days you really can't tell. Take out the ID if you really have a question about it, and you'll see. But the issue is they don't even ask that. They want to go straight to the bedroom with it. No questions asked. And the thing about it is that these females now, they don't really see that. They don't really understand that. They want pity now, but you're not going to get it from me. I'm not going to give it to you because, again, you should have known better. Common sense, again, is not so common in most of these females today. Again, this is not a female bashing video, but the issue is that you got to look at the both parts. Yes, if he did it, he's wrong. But let's actually hold her accountable for what she did as well. Because again, like I said, I'm not letting anybody off the hook. Not with this. Because this is a serious issue. People's lives have been ruined because of being accused of rape. And even they may not have even touched the person. But because they may have felt rejected, they may have felt that the person was not into them, they'll do something because they already know that the system is already on their side. And because the system is already on their side, then they actually will have a greater chance of actually humiliating them. So basically what it is, it's all about humiliating the person that rejected you so they'll know how it feels like when they rejected you as the individual. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it happens. You got a lot of sick individuals out there. But again, all of this boils down because of the fact that common sense was not used. And they're looking at the media, social media, as their guide on how far they can go and what men are supposed to do. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of men, they're not really thinking straight these days. They're thinking with the head in their pants between their legs versus the one that's up here. And I don't think any man is going to pass up free meat, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? But it's just that we have gotten this thing all kind of discombobulated. We got this process all discombobulated. You got some females that will go and tempt and will go and push that envelope of sexuality and everything like this. And then at the same time, they say, well, you can't touch me. True. But the issue is that you're asking for trouble. I don't care. I may get a lot of women that may say, you know what, how dare you say that? No, I know nobody asked to be raped, but you send out sexual suggestions based on what you do. I mean, we're sexual beings, okay? Hear me out here. We're sexual beings. And the thing about it, everything that we do and how we exist and everything else actually gives the environment signals about how we think about ourselves, what we want to attract, all of that type of stuff. You actually see somebody that is constantly acting trampy, dressing in a trampy clothes, flaunting their behind in front of men's faces and all this type of stuff. One thing about it is that the last thing that she is talking about is wanting to be left alone. Do you get what I'm saying? And the issue is that when somebody actually acts on those suggestions, because you are secretly, even though your mouth may say no, and that's your right to say no, but your actions are saying, come hither. Come on, I'm an easy piece, come on, let's do a little something. Do you understand? But see, the issue is that we're not thinking. This is not even in our registry. We're not really understanding all of this. Because we figure that, okay, if all of the stuff get hot and heavy, the woman says no, the man's supposed to automatically stop. Yes, in a perfect world, that's supposed to happen. But the way that society is now, the morals and everything else, I guarantee you, in the heat of the moment, a man is not going to stop. That's just the way that it is. I'm sorry to tell you, females, but that's the way that it is. It's not going to happen. And then next thing you know, you want to cry rape. Hey, it is what it is. But a lot of the stuff can be, how can I put it? A lot of the stuff can be eliminated if you just use common sense. Again, common sense. As some would call it, street smarts, mother wit, whatever you want to call it, that will help you, that will actually keep you from being in some of unfortunate situations that can happen in life. So now, again, everybody's coming to her aid and wanting to kind of throw stones at the fellow, whatever the case may be. Like I say, not so fast. Not so fast. Please, not so fast. Because you got to look at two sides here. Women have been doing things and being secret, and then they don't want to be held accountable for many years. Being secret in their dirt and everything, and then once it's uncovered and they're brought to the forefront, then they want to kind of do everything they can to weasel their way out of it. Not with me. Not with me. It's not going to happen. I don't care. Not with me. It's just too much things that are going on. And the thing about it is that it's so easy for a man to lose everything, based on an allegation. And see, one thing about it, sometimes the fella have to go through years and years through the legal system in order to clear his name. And the only time that, in most cases, the only time they'll actually be able to clear his name is when the woman actually slips up, going bragging to her girlfriends or whatever the case may be. And next thing you know, they go and tell somebody else, and next thing you know, she's called to the forefront. Did this happen? Did this happen? Well, you were caught saying this to such and such. Is this true or whatever? And next thing you know, her cover is blown. So now her credibility is shot. His career and everything that he had going for him is gone down the drain, and he can't get that back because now people have got it fixated in their minds of this type of person, of how he is. Next thing you know, even though his name may have been cleared, the stigma is still going to be there. All because of someone who did not want to feel like they were rejected. Well, ladies, you really need to wake up these days. I mean, truly, seriously. I'm not saying that every man is out to to get you laid or whatever the case may be and run, and try to do the next person that way. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to look at what's going on in social media. Look at what's going on in your communities. Look at what's going on, period, in life. The shifts in attitudes and everything that's going on. Because that will give you a clue about what's going on and how you would need to conduct yourself. But a lot of people look at that and say, well, that won't happen to me. That's them. I know how to protect myself. I know how to use common sense. I know how far to go. Well, apparently this female didn't. She let her guard down. The next thing you know, there's an allegation now of rape. And now, once rape comes into the picture, society automatically looks down at the man and say, did you do that? Shame on you. You need to be punished. And next thing you know, they will, stick it to him to the fullest of the law. No pun intended. And now he is labeled this, that, and the other. And like I say, we don't really know if it's true. The only people that know it's true are three people, which is God, the man, and the woman. There's two sides to every story. There's the right, the wrong, and the judgment time. Like I say, it's just crazy. It really is. And it's a shame, like I say, that things like this has to happen. But the issue is that I believe that there are some things that women can do to lessen themselves. I'm not saying that people ask to be raped. Nobody asks to be raped. Regardless of how whorish or slutty-ish a woman may dress, that still is not an open invitation to violate her. And again, you have some women, like I say, who are attracted to, men. And we have a lot seen in the headlines many times these days where you have teachers that are sleeping with their teenage students. That is rape as well. I don't care if he said that it was okay, it's consenting. No, because in the eyes of the law, he's underage, meaning that he is not legal enough to make sound, logical decisions on his behalf. But like I say, no one says much about those. No one says those are kind of swept under the carpet. You'll get maybe a comment or two here or there about that, but that's the end of it. The only thing that she would probably get is a slap on the wrist and probation. Rarely any jail time. I mean, like I say, it's just crazy. We haven't the system that we have is very unequal. Lots of inequalities. And unfortunately, we are just, victims, I guess you would say, of an unjust system in some cases, depending on what the circumstances are. But I wanted to kind of get that video out because more needs to be done. I think a lot more needs to be investigated. And if he did come to, and if it is found out that this young fellow raped this girl, yes, by all means, punish him. But she needs a stern kick in a sense on her backside as well, because she should have known better. Okay? We already understand, men are not, as I would say, men anymore. I'm not talking about the transformation process where they're becoming a bit more effeminate and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about, even though that is in some cases. But what I mean by it in this case is that men are not gentlemen anymore. Okay? Where they actually looked at the woman and actually respected the woman. Where, when she spoke, they actually thought about what she said and what she meant and acted accordingly. There's no more of that because of pop culture and the environment that we stay in. So, like I say, feel free to say anything you want. It is what it is. This is my video. Be civil. I don't deal with all those ignorant comments because if you do, I will be quick to block. I am not afraid to say. Okay, so like I say, peace out and have a good day.